You have the task in front of you. You know what it is. You know it matters. You have had enough time to do it. And you don't. You open something else. You check something that doesn't need checking. You reorganize. You reply to things that could have waited. You circle the task without ever touching it. And then the day ends. And the task is still there. And so is the guilt. You tell yourself it is a discipline problem. You tell yourself you are lazy. You tell yourself tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow usually looks the same. This is not laziness. Laziness is indifference. What you are describing is not indifference. You care. That's why it bothers you. What you are avoiding is not the task. You are avoiding the feeling that comes with starting it. That's the difference. I'm Dinesh Kumar, author and podcaster, exploring psychology, technology, and how we make sense of modern life. This is the DK Talks. What procrastination actually is. Procrastination is not a time management failure. It is not about being disorganized. It is not about lacking systems or schedules. Procrastination is emotional avoidance. You are not avoiding the task, you are avoiding the feeling the task triggers. And until you understand that distinction, no planner, no app, no productivity method will fix it. Because they are solving the wrong problem. The task sits there. It might take 30 minutes. It might take an hour. You have done harder things before, but something about this one feels heavy. And that heaviness is not about the work. It is about what the work represents emotionally. There are a few common drivers behind this. The first is fear of exposure. The task requires you to produce something that someone else will see. And producing means being visible, and being visible means being evaluated. The second is fear of inadequacy. You are not sure the result will be good enough, and rather than confirming that fear by trying, you delay because delay keeps the possibility alive that you could have done it well if you had started. The third is fear of judgment, not always from others, often from yourself. The standards you hold are high enough that starting feels like walking towards failure. And the fourth is overwhelm. The task is unclear, you don't know where to begin, there is no obvious first step, and that ambiguity creates friction that the brain interprets as a reason to wait. In every case, the pattern is the same. The emotion arrives before the task begins, and the brain decides without asking you that avoiding the emotion is the priority. Why the brain keeps doing it? This part is straightforward. The brain has one consistent bias when it comes to discomfort. It prioritizes immediate mood repair over long-term outcome. When you turn away from the task and do something easier, scroll, clean, reorganize, check messages, the discomfort drops. Not completely, but enough. That small drop is a relief, and the brain registered that relief as a reward. So a loop forms. Discomfort arrives, you avoid, the discomfort decreases, the brain learns avoidance works. Next time the discomfort shows up, the brain reaches for the same exit, faster, more automatically. Over time, this becomes the default, not because you choose it, but because the brain reinforced it. And here's the part that makes it stubborn. The brain doesn't compare avoidance against your goals. It doesn't weight your 5-year plan against a moment of discomfort. It just solves for right now. It does not care about your ambition. It cares about immediate relief. And right now, avoidance feels better than starting. That is why willpower alone fails so often. You're not fighting a lack of effort. You are fighting a system that has been quietly trained to protect you from short-term emotional discomfort. And that system operates faster than your conscious decisions. The real cost. Most people measure the cost of procrastination in time. Hours lost, deadlines missed, opportunities delayed. But the real cost is deeper than that. The first cost is cognitive load. When you avoid a task, it doesn't leave your mind. It stays in the background, occupying mental space, pulling at your focus, draining energy even when you are doing other things. You are never fully free because the undone task is always there. The second cost is background tension. Procrastination creates a low grade stress that sits beneath everything else. You can't quite relax. You can't quite enjoy the things you do instead. Because part of you knows you are borrowing time against something that still needs to happen. That cost. And the most damaging one is erosion of self trust. Every time you say, I will do it tomorrow and don't, a small agreement with yourself breaks. Do that enough times and something shifts in how you see yourself. You stop believing your own commitments, you start identifying as someone who doesn't follow through. And that identity, I'm someone who procrastinates, becomes harder to change than any single task you avoided. The time you lose, you can get back. The self trust you lose takes much longer to rebuild. What actually works? If procrastination is emotional avoidance, then the solution has to address emotion, not time. And there are three things that actually work. The first, lower the emotional barrier before lowering the task size. Most advice tells you to break the task into smaller pieces, and that can help. But often the task is already small. The problem is not the size, it is the weight. So before you shrink the task, identify the feeling attached to it. Is it fear of judgment? Is it uncertainty about where to start? Is it the pressure of it needing to be perfect? Name it, you don't need to resolve it. Just naming it reduces its grip. The brain reacts differently to a feeling once it is named. The second, separate starting from finishing. A lot of procrastination is driven by treating the task as a single event. You sit down expecting to begin and complete something in one arc. That expectation is what makes it heavy. Remove the expectation of finishing. Your only job is to begin. Open the document, write one line, read the first page. Starting and finishing are two different psychological acts. Starting becomes easier once you stop tying it to the final result. The third, make the first step feel safe, not impressive. Procrastination is a threat response. The brain has flagged the task as emotionally risky. So the entry point has to feel low risk. Don't start with the hardest part or the most visible part. Start with the rough version, the placeholder, the version that doesn't matter. Not because low quality work is the goal, but because a safe entry point lowers the resistance and gets you past the threshold where it lives. And once you are past the threshold, the brain recalculates, the threat feels smaller, the momentum begins to carry. The task that feels impossible from the outside often feels ordinary once you are inside it. Procrastination is a protection mechanism. That's all it is. The brain detects discomfort attached to a task and moves you away from it quickly, automatically, without permission. That's not laziness, that's a nervous system doing what it was trained to do. But protection becomes a problem when the things you are being protected from are the same things you need to move toward. Your goals, your growth, your own standards. The answer is not to force your way through the resistance, the answer is to reduce what the brain is reacting to. Make the task emotionally smaller, make the entry point safer, make starting and finishing two separate commitments. The goal is not to feel no resistance, you will still feel it. The goal is to start while the resistance is still there. Because once you begin, you often realize the task was never as heavy as the feeling made it seem. It just needed a way that the brain could accept. Take care. I will see you in the next one.